You're hucking the ball around with your pals the other day.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we are once again hanging out at the produce stand, a podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one is not too hard, not too soft.
Oh.
This one is just right.
Well done.
I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is the lovely Tanya, and online we have Squirrely Matt and the vivacious Victor. How are you guys doing tonight?
Excellent.
All good.
All right. Yes. Okay. I've been waiting to do this too. Wait. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we've been sitting here for 5 minutes waiting for Victor to show up to open my beer.
Yeah.
You know, I needed it, Victor. I needed it.
So what do you drink? Is that Lisbon in your background, Victor?
No, that's the Belize, where I'm from.
Belize? It looks like Lisbon. It's got the castle on the mountaintop overlooking the city. It's very nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's how people defend their cities.
Yes, I know. I mean, I guess.
They stick the castle.
Oh, that's
up there.
liquid gold right there.
What are you drinking, Matt?
Oh, because it's been a special kind of day. I'm drinking a Amsterdam Fracture.
Amsterdam
What's
Fracture.
what's an average beer?
5%
Alcohol. Fiber. Yeah, this one's 9.1.
Crazy.
So,
That's why they call it Fracture.
I've been munching all night. So I'm a little full, but I usually drink 2 beers during the show. I figured I'd just do one all in one shot or double it up.
You're going to run out. You're going to have another one. Anyway, let's start with how's your week? And we'll start. I've got today's order is going to be Victor first. Go ahead, Victor. How's your week?
Oh, wow. Yeah, week's pretty good. We, since last time we chatted, we have a new roof.
Congratulations.
A new metal roof.
And we've had some rain too
not,
to test the sound quality. How is it?
Just in time. It's the same. We've got 3, oh boy, what do you call those things? Skylights.
Okay.
So I think that makes more noise than the roof itself.
Right.
So we haven't really noticed. And no, it's nice. And this one's supposed to last for 40 years at least. So.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully you'll never have to think about it again.
Okay, so I get the visual. Did you go with a fun color? Like what did you do?
I mean, it's not pink or anything like that. It's not so different from the color we had before, just because that was kind of went with the house. It's a darker brown, and it has a texture on it, but it is metal. But from afar, it looks like a regular shingle, but it's got that new kind of shine to it, if you will, and so everyone kind of like stops and looks, which is kind of cool. And so it's gave it a really nice facelift.
Awesome.
It's a tin roof, rusted.
No, it's not tin.
It's not tin.
No, I had to say
it's a composite.
I wanted I wanted the opportunity to quote B-52s first. Matt, how's your week?
It's been good, man. Busy.
Really?
Work's been great.
Because you were drinking a 9.0.
Well, yeah, I'm tired. And actually leading up to the show, I wasn't sure I was going to make it, but I couldn't let you guys down. So I downed a coffee. I dabbled into my childhood and had some orange slices, like a halftime little kick up. And then I cracked a 9.1 to start the show.
And halfway through this podcast, we'll give you a freezie. How's that?
Yeah, I'm in, man.
Freezy.
But no, the week's been good. I do have a small, I don't know, bone to pick with one of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a little confused. And so yesterday, and I still don't have a response, so I'm throwing one of you on the bus here. A random feline entered my my DMs on Instagram. This malicious, menacing-looking pumpkin arrived in my private messages with no context at all.
Pumpkin spice spam. That's what it is.
So Victor, tell me why.
Why are we getting pictures of pumpkin? Yeah, I got the same picture
in our private messages,
and they're not even just regular cat pictures; they're glam shots of his cat. So Victor has a cat,
kind of eerie and exotic, and I don't know, and kind of scary, all in the same photo.
Accurate. Yeah, I got scolded as well on Facebook because I posted it on Facebook, and I don't post anything on social media really almost ever. So I got a reply from a friend/colleague that was, you haven't posted on Facebook for 18 months. And and you haven't no kid pics, no updates on life, on COVID, what's happening, and now Pumpkin makes it to Facebook.
Yeah.
Good job.
Well, your kids are beyond the cute stage now, so you wouldn't post pictures of them. But yeah, you used to post at least like videos of you playing guitar and stuff, and not even one of those.
Yeah, no, it's true. I just, it was a thing, right? I mean, the only reason I originally got an Instagram account was because my daughter got one, and she was still in her early teens, and you want to make sure she wasn't getting herself into any trouble, and so I needed a reason, and so that was it. And then once I didn't need to worry about her anymore, I kind of lost interest in it, but Pumpkin's there now, so there you go.
So and you know what? Thank you. It made my day. I really wasn't sure what it was about, but Pumpkin was there, primed for greatness.
It's Pumpkin,
and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, but before you get to your guys' week and what you're going to do next, I need to stop, and I'm going to let you do your thing, Al. But thank you to Twitter today, because you. Careful what you wish for.
I know, right? Wow.
Begging for more followers. and he always does his portion, so it's really going to be hilarious, because you guys, thank you. You made him scramble the last.
Oh my God! Did you ever? Holy crap!
To figure out how he's going to approach the Twitter follower section of our show. So I'm going to let you guys do your week, and then I'm going to let Al spend 20 minutes thanking all our new followers. So thank you, Twitter.
Of all episodes too, I've got my soundboard is loaded with this episode. Anyway, so yes, Tanya, quickly, how was your week?
I'm just going to say good. Go.
Maybe I'll speak for both of us. So we're now officially moved down into the basement for the kitchen. We've been eating and cooking in the kitchen all week, and this weekend we're moving the bedrooms down. So as of this weekend, we're fully living downstairs, and next weekend we start demolishing the kitchen. We start tearing down walls and stuff. The dumpster gets delivered tomorrow into our driveway, and that means the neighbors are going to discreetly try to throw garbage into the dumpster while we're not looking.
I was just going to ask, can I bring a few things your way?
And that's okay, because I've done the same for when our neighbors have had dumpsters. So it's very exciting stuff. And the other piece of news, yesterday in my son's class, somebody threw up, and I was like, holy crap, here we go.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
is that even a symptom, though?
Well, that's the thing, right? So the symptoms,
everything is symptoms.
And today in Ontario, they've changed the symptoms. Although I think throwing up is still on there. So I get this morning. So my son stayed home today, because we were expecting a communication from school or something to say what had happened. One of the kids was sick. The kid threw up. So they took her and her younger sister out of their classrooms, and they isolated the kids in the library, and they cleaned the classroom down, and they took all the proper precautions, and we were sitting here waiting for word to see whether it's safe for him to go back to school the next day, and we got nothing. So he stayed home today, but I did drop my daughter off because she's in second grade, so different class or whatever, and talked to the principal, and he said, yeah, look, as long as there's no positive test, it's business as usual. He's like, I've sent other kids home, so for puking and for having runny noses, that's going to happen, and we can't panic every time, which makes sense. And he's like, if the kid tests positive and we get a positive result, then it's out of our hands, and then public health steps in, and then you guys will know, and all that stuff. So happily, and in our area there's 7 active cases, so it's not like it's really high, so we're pretty good, and the chances are everything's fine. But yeah, that was our week.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. Okay.
Oh,
so as Matt alluded today, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought, okay, I looked at our Twitter follower count, and we were at 98. I'm like, wow, we're like 2 followers away from 100. So I put out a tweet and say, hey, we're 2 followers away. How about some help? And then boom, not since the great tweet of Ed Norton which was just last week, and actually this week it's almost double what we got from the Ed Norton tweet last week. We got as of last week 35 new followers. So yeah, Matt, you're right. I'm gonna try to go through this as quickly as I can. Here we go. Julie Beaslin, Pavataradze from Ashtabula, Ohio. Yuri, Veronica W., Liz Schneider, Scott Gilligan from Toronto, Bonnie McLean from Australia, Jack Little, Awesome One, Neil from Columbus, Ohio, Josh Hinch, Livy from Indiana, Toronto Mike. Finally, he joined, and you know what?
Aren't you guys friends?
We are friends. What an asshole he is, right? But I think it's because he was waiting. He was actually number 99. I think he was waiting to be number 99. So thank you, Toronto Mike, for joining. It's not like he's listening. He just did it probably because I begged, and I'm not too proud to beg. I've already said that. So that was number 99. So number 100 was A-Town. I'm guessing he's from Atlanta. Eric Marshall. Chris Wagner from Massachusetts. Massachusetts. I even spelt it wrong. Massachusetts.
Today, Junior.
Angry National Park from the planet Earth. Kay Back from Texas. Chris Evans. Eric Lunger. Conscripted. He's from somewhere on the I-35 in Texas or something like that. Seth Stout from Indiana. S. Murphy. That Lisa girl. Haha, charade you are from Older and Wiser. I don't know what that means, but okay. Bog Slut. I love some of these. Wow. Redbeard from Moncton, New Brunswick. I feel like maybe, Matt, you know who Redbeard is. Do you? Or no?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought because
I know one person from New Brunswick. Now I know them all.
No, I thought you guys had some kind of interaction there. Maybe you didn't. And you're from out east, right? So I don't know. Anyway, Strange Breed. They're a band from Vancouver, BC. I think we attracted them from the Toronto Mic. They were on Toronto Mic a while ago. Alex Koch. Brittany DeRosa from upstate New York. Don't be a child.
Grow up.
Grow up.
I just liked your pause and swallow after the
taking a breath.
Name.
Holy fuck. It's going to be one of those. All right. I'm almost done here. Jessica Steckel from Portland, Oregon. Matt Sorrento from Rockland, again, Massachusetts. Matt Osborne.
So what?
Massachusetts. I said two shits. Test and Trace is the only way. Kyle from Iowa. And Hoboken Mets fan from Hoboken, New Jersey. Wow. Thank you all. Again, I'm not above begging, and it worked today. Like I put out one tweet. I only needed 2, and we got 35. So thank you all.
Dude, I was laughing my ass off here at home watching those followers go, because I'm thinking, as you do all. I mean, let's get real. Tanya, Victor, and I do nothing. Al does all the preparation. So I'm thinking of you building your list minutes before, and I'm pretty sure 2 more just joined.
Yeah,
you just missed.
I got a buzz, so
they'll have to get called out next week.
Yeah, it'll be next. Oh, I love the. Victor's background is a train wreck. Why? What?
Train wreck.
So far, things are going smoothly. Why would you?
But I mean, it shows. We love all our fans and everyone who follows.
That.
We will call you out.
Oh man, yes. At least our Twitter followers. We have actually twice the amount of Facebook followers, but we don't give them any. We don't pay them any attention. Okay, so here we go.
Well, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
Last week, we reviewed Season 2, Episode 2, The Election. That episode received a fresh rating from Tanya, a clearance from Matt and myself, and a compost from Victor. Tonight, we're recapping. Victor's laughing. He's remembering right now. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was an asshole last weekend. All right. Tonight. Oh, and by the way, my scientific Twitter poll for that for last week's episode, 20% agreed with Tanya, 60% agreed with Matt and I, gave it a clearance, and 20% agreed with Victor and gave it a compost. So it's out, it actually kind of matches what we
Tanya,
had.
have you recovered from last week? I know you were really, really upset.
Oh my gosh, you guys got me all riled up.
Like, I didn't think you were coming back this week.
It was awesome. So tonight we're recapping and reviewing Season 2, Episode 3, Relationships. So we're going to start off with Victor. Did you do your homework, Victor?
I did my homework and I did the extra credit.
Oh, yes, perfect. Matt, did you do your homework?
Of course I did.
Did you do the extra credit?
I announced all that already.
Okay, all right.
I mean, not on the show. No, but yeah. This homework thing, it's becoming a little daunting, but yes, I'm doing it.
Follow along, all right? Tanya, did you do your homework?
Of course I did. You sat me down.
Yes, I always make sure she does. Here we go. Cold open. The Hicks are playing catch. and talking about Squirrely Dan's date with his sweetie the night before. Already, this is going to be a great start. He took her to the chip truck. He had fries and gravy. She had hers with salt and malt vinegar. This triggers a discussion about the differences between Canada and the U.S. as it pertains to condiments in restaurants, like no vinegars on the tables, no Kraft peanut butters, no all-dressed chips, or ketchup chips either. Figure it out.
Yeah.
They do have 6 different types of Captain Crunch, though. Squirrely Dan saw a comedian talk about it on the Just for Rears. He can't remember his name, though. A bit long-winded for Squirrely Dan's taste, but overall a good guy. So the reason that's funny, and I mentioned the extracurricular homework, is because the comedian he's talking about is K. Trevor Wilson, who is Squirrely Dan, the comedian and actor.
But did you notice, though, he said 4 different types of Captain Crunch in the stand-up routine?
Yeah.
So is there 6?
Yeah,
what are the other 2? What are the other 2 is what I can't stop thinking about.
Oh, let me have a go.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Is it just extra crunch berries?
Yeah, it's a fun routine. I loved his, just for rears and them breaking the fourth wall almost by talking about him in third person. Yeah, and the extracurricular homework I asked you guys to do was to watch his Just for Laughs a bit on Captain Crunch. So I'm glad you guys did that, and hopefully that made it even funnier when he mentioned it in the show.
Well, it's so true. I mean, like the foods are very different, and there are lists of things like you called out 2 big ones. And I have friends in the U.S. that if we go visit, they always expect that we're going to bring them ketchup chips because apparently that's not a thing down there.
No, it's weird.
Get on it, seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, but here's another weird one that always caught me up, and I don't know if this is unanimous across all the U.S., but I'm an iced tea guy, and when I say iced tea, I mean the shitty Nest tea that we get here.
Oh yeah, completely different down there.
Sugary mess. I love it. But you go there. I remember I think it was in Atlanta, and I ordered an iced tea, and then they said sweetened or unsweetened, and I was floored by this option. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean?
Yeah,
it doesn't got an option.
It doesn't come in a can.
I didn't even know there was an option. Yeah. I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah, no, down there, iced tea is actual like brewed tea, cold tea. Yeah. It's not the crap that we drink.
I took the lighter side out of fear, and I chose unsweetened, which clearly was a mistake. And I learned from this.
You proceeded to put 5 tablespoons of sugar into it, right?
Exactly.
I'm wondering why it's not dissolving.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, just to answer your question, there is a cotton candy crunch.
Oh my God. Ooh.
And there is a red, white, and blue crunch.
Of course.
That's not a flavor.
Those are colors.
None of them
Those are colors. The crunch berry, of course, the peanut butter crunch, and the oops all berry.
Oh, so maybe if we because that Just for Laughs looks like it was a few years ago.
Maybe it was a few years.
Yeah, maybe he's updated it and now he's got 6. Yeah. Right. So back to Squirrely Dan's date. Things went so well that they got a little bits of foolings arounds. Derry tries to get Squirrely Dan to elaborate, but all Squirrely Dan will cop to is Frenching a little. Wayne says it's impolite to kiss and tell. Squirrely Dan doesn't like to kiss and tell, but the Frenching did take a hard left turn from which he has yet to recover. This piques Wayne interest. Even though he doesn't like to ask Squirrely Dan to kiss and tell, he's now very curious. So Squirrely Dan elaborates.
I'm sure you boys have had a couple curveballs thrown your ways betwixt the sheets.
Well, not to be impolite, but sometimes a gal will be kissing around on like the area near your genitals, but not quite on your genitals. Makes me ticklish and insecure.
Not to be impolite, but sometimes a gal will do some kissing on the ears, which makes me uncomfortable because even though I clean my ears, sometimes a tater will just roll out of there unexpected.
Squirrely Dan kind of likes both of those things, and that's why they call him Squirrely Dan. Reason fucking 5 million, Wayne says under his breath. So now it's his turn to overshare.
Well, not to be impolite, but this gal suggested that maybe I should have some attentions paid to my butthole. That ever happened to you guys?
Attentions paid.
You ever have a gal suggest that you need some attentions paid to your buttholes?
Attention's paid. I love that. Wayne just stands there with one hand behind him as if guarding his butthole. Derry promptly drops the ball thrown at him from Squirrely Dan as Squirrely Dan stands there pleading for some acknowledgement of his predicament. The game of catch continues, but this time only between Wayne and Derry.
Can I just say
The hard no, I guess. She put a couple fingers up there, and turns out you got an erogenous zone.
Erogenous.
Found a hot button. Gave it a tickle, and it feels pretty good, you guys. Okay.
Pop fly.
I really liked it.
Pop fly.
Felt very natural.
Oh man.
Okay.
Well, hold on. We're not done yet. So the game of catch intensifies as Wayne and Derry graduate to pop flies and grounders.
Nice. That's how you get the body in front of it.
They call it milking the prostate.
So, yeah. And then back to a very bothered Wayne who blinks twice and reiterates his first word of wisdom. And that is...
What's impolite to kiss and tell?
And then the music starts. So there you go. That is before the credits even roll.
Dude, I'm gonna say this. That is single-handedly the best scene I've seen in this entire series to date. I could just listen to you guys. I could not stop laughing.
Yeah.
Everything about that was brilliant. The way they just sort of stepped aside, ignored him.
Yeah.
He was so looking for validation in what was going on, and they weren't even giving him the time of day. It was just comedic brilliance in that whole scene.
The writing, the physical humor, everything.
Everything about it.
Yeah. Derry can't
Texas size 10-4 on that one.
Yeah, Derry can't throw, by the way. He's got an awkward throw. I mean, if these guys are all former hockey players, his throw, I can understand Squirrely Dan maybe having an awkward throw, but Derry's throw is just
they were playing baseball though, right?
No, I know, but still, usually if you're athletic, you're athletic, and that's I don't know, maybe he's acting maybe he's acting like he's got a bad throw, but anyway. All right, so scene 1. After the credits, the Hicks are in Wayne and Katie's kitchen. Derry is eviscerating a yogurt cup, as per usual. He asks Katie where Stuart has been, and she says he's not talking to her, and she doesn't know why. Katie serves up a stack of pancakes with the birthday candle in it for Wayne, as per his birthday tradition. Wayne is sitting at the table with his dog Gus in his lap. The Hicks got Wayne a birthday present, but he says we don't make a thing of birthdays in this family, so Derry suggests skipping his super soft birthday this year, which gets a hard no from Wayne. Katie says the gift is less of a birthday thing and more of an efficiency thing, which triggers a word of wisdom from Wayne again.
If you could be one thing, you should be efficient.
The Hicks got Wayne an appointment with a matchmaker. Wayne does not like the idea.
Well, start walking.
We won't do online dating. There's no more Modine, so you can't meet girls there. You're handcuffed, cowboy.
You figured out.
Yeah, figures it out.
You tell me to figure it out. You isn't what you figured out.
All you have to do is sit down with a matchmaker, answer a few questions, and then she sets you up on 3 dates with girls that she thinks you'll jive with.
The Hicks go off on a tangent about jiving Pete because she said jive, his testicles and his botched vasectomy. They've all seen jiving Pete's swollen nuts.
It looks like a rambutan, which is to say, this hairy fruit.
So not smooth like a persimmon?
No, although it is about the size of a persimmons, which of course is much like a tomatoes.
What sort of potent peace pipe was some prick pulling off when he titled tomatoes fruits?
Well, now both Jive and Pete's nuts have a story, which I hope guarantees that I'll never have to listen to another story about Jive and Pete's nuts.
He's a good guy.
He's a real good guy.
No, he's a great guy.
So, the writing in this episode is so fucking top notch. And then the physical humor that they add to it, like in the pre-credits scene. But in this scene, I mean, who has a rambutan just laying around for Squirrely Dan just, looked like a rambutan. And he's holding this thing in his hand. And then a persimmon, I've seen persimmons around here, but I've never seen a rambutan.
I've never heard that word. I'm still not even sure what you're saying.
Yeah, I had to look it up on the internets in order to know what he was talking about. But
and what is it?
It's a fuzzy, odd-looking tropical fruit related to the lychee. So I know what a lychee is, but a rambutan, I don't know. So he just happened to have one in his hand when describing
Sounds
jiving
like a
Pete's
cousin
nut.
of an orangutan. But
Do you
I don't know
open
what you're
it with
talking
like a nutcracker?
I I don't know. You're asking me. I don't know. I didn't Google
Okay,
that much of it.
we need to get on a Google.
Yeah, there you go.
Can we get some samples?
What's that?
Can we Uber Eats some samples of
orangutans? I don't know.
How would you spell this orangutan?
It's right there. Rambutan.
Okay, I can't see.
I'm hearing an A at the beginning. Is it Alram?
No, just Rambutan.
Bhutan.
Not a fucking word.
Anyway, talk returns to the plot of the episode and a little bit of applied peer pressure.
Wayne, you're looking for love. And you said it yourself. If you can be one thing, be efficient.
There's a wants, there's a rights. Figures it out.
Pitter patter, let's get at her. Figure it out.
You shouldn't gang up on people on their birthdays.
We don't make a thing of birthdays in this family. Just come in this afternoon. Don't be in your barn clothes.
Don't be in your barn clothes. So, I mean, we're into episode 3, and I know last week, especially Victor was complaining that this whole season was supposed to be about Wayne looking for love, and we're finally getting to it, right? But it's taken 3 episodes to get to it. Now, scene 2, Riley and Jonesy are parked outside the rink ranting about how much they hate Pracky. They decided they're going to donk or act like an ass at practice.
Like, I'm just gonna prack you like a donkey.
I could donk all day.
Just blast clappers at the hash marks. Fucking plug tendy of ours.
Clappies from the hashies, buddy.
Just stepping into one from the ladies' team.
Just bulldoze us people.
Just firing ringers at his ears.
Just firing warm-up ringers.
Just tossing chest-high sauce at the boys.
Just tossing ankle-high rocket sauce.
Just tossing mad sueys up the middle.
Just tossing mad sueys through the trolley tracks.
Just tossing mad breakout sueys directly into the skates.
Just tossing mad breakout sueys.
So, there's not a lot to uncover there because it's kind of a throwaway scene, but I had to look up what a suey was because that was the one thing that they mentioned that I had no idea what it was, and it's basically a suicide pass. So
okay,
yeah, a pass.
And I think this is going to come up more and more in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Is this episode had some real highlights, but there's a few what you described throwaway moments, and this is their presence in this episode definitely felt very throwaway.
Yeah, very.
And by the way, just a suicide pass is the receiver who receives a pass and gets destroyed by a guy who's hitting him because he's too busy looking at the puck.
Exactly.
That he's received.
Yeah. So. But hey, we'll continue. Scene number 3, back at the barn, Katie and Wayne are with the matchmaker. She explains a little bit about her service.
So a little bit about me. My service is called Goldilocks and the 3 Dates.
Katie.
I forgot to tell her not to tell you that.
So I've modeled my business after the charming story that it's inspired by. I send my clients on 3 dates, and like the beds that Goldilocks laid down in after eating the 3 bears' porridge, maybe one is too hard, and maybe one is too soft. But in the end, we hope that maybe one is just right.
Katie.
Get after it. You're losing him.
The funniest part of this scene is just Wayne reacting to this ridiculous matchmaker.
But I get here's my thought. I hate her. Like I think like I would do Wayne in that, but I like the logic.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some thinking there that she's onto something. The name is terrible. She's terrible. She played it well. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, but she's onto something.
Mm-hmm. Well, the match.
Yeah, it was a bit over the top, but yeah.
Yeah. The matchmaker asks Wayne to tell her a little bit about himself. His response is, "It's impolite to talk about yourself," but that's why Katie's there.
Keeps his truck clean, loves his dogs, enjoys a beer and a smoke.
Then the matchmaker asks about Wayne's past relationships. His response again, "You shouldn't air your dirty laundry." Again, Katie to the rescue.
5 years, ended a while ago, no baggage.
And so next, the matchmaker asks how much Wayne makes in a fiscal year. This is the last straw. Wayne yells at Katie, who responds for him. "It's impolite to talk about your money." But then she adds, "He's no slouch," under her breath. The matchmaker has all the information she needs, and she's about to begin Wayne's story, and Wayne just storms off before she can finish her spiel. Next scene, the Hicks are out playing catch again. Squirrely Dan and Derry question Wayne about his initial consultation with the matchmaker. Wayne gets annoyed with their questioning. Stuart shows up. He wants to know if Katie has mentioned anything to them about him not talking to her. Wayne can confirm, and Stuart's pleased because he wants her to know he's upset with her.
It's working.
What's working?
By not talking to her, she will form the conclusion that I'm upset with her and eventually ask me why.
Why are you so butthurt, Stuart?
Well, she acts
Just
like...
kidding. I don't give a fuck.
Wait, so you're upset with her, and you want to communicate that by not communicating.
Acutely.
You are spare parts, aren't you, bud?
Let me know if Katie asks about me.
And as Stuart walks away, Wayne throws the baseball and hits Stuart in the back.
Oh, it was. I can watch that on repeat.
All right. Next scene. Date number 1. At the Four Dancers Resto Bar, about 35 minutes east of town, Wayne meets his first date.
I'm Kim. I'm a psychologist. I'm a feminist. I'll be paying the bill.
I'm Wayne.
The date is unexpectedly interrupted by Pastor Glenn.
Wayne.
Glenn, how are you now?
Oh, good. And you?
Oh, not so bad.
Well, I guess the kitten's out of the clutch on this one. I also have to work as a waitress to make ends meet.
Sure you do.
I'm Kim.
Are you ever? Look at you. I'm loving this. You're like a shark. I'm scared. Like a Julie Moore, like a Jesse Chastain. What can I get you to drink?
We'll need a minute.
Please and thank you.
All right. Well, you'll take care of little Miss Nikki Kidman here till I get back, Mr. McConaughey.
Sure I will.
I'm really
I love that he identified as a waitress.
Yeah, I know. I'm really hoping that this episode here goes a little bit to changing Victor's mind about Wayne.
Pastor Glenn or Glenn.
Glenn, yeah.
In this episode, has now shot himself all the way up to being, I think, my second or third favorite character. I loved him in this.
Yeah, he's really good in this.
Yeah.
So Glenn leaves, and the therapy session, the date begins.
He crosses his arms. Are you aware of the psychology behind that?
Now, when you say he, you're talking about me, right?
He has wit. Do you know why you cross your arms?
Feels like you're talking to two people right now.
Crossing your arms, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, is a sign of defense. You're protecting your vital organs. Do you feel threatened by me?
Well, I don't, but the other guy might.
He is hilarious. Enough psychology for now. What do you know about feminism, Wayne?
I know it's unsafe territory to discuss with a feminist.
Why?
Someone will start shouting.
Why?
I don't know.
Feminism is the belief that women and men should have equal rights and opportunities. So are you a feminist, Wayne?
Well, I trust my sister with just about any job under the sun over a man. Except this one, I guess.
Excuse me?
Not to be impolite, but you're not exposed to talk about sex, politics, or religion at the supper
So I know you said the opening scene before the credits was your favorite scene in the whole thing. It was really, really funny. But I got to say, the writing in this scene, I fucking love. I think it's one of the best written scenes so far on the show.
I'll give you that. The whole episode I think was very well written, but I had never laughed as hard.
Sure.
I appreciate the pauses and the cadence of a scene. And I think the first scene, that's what carried me. It was just so well overall. So the writing was good, the flow of it, the body language. I literally was, I'm not even kidding you, I was crying watching that first scene.
For sure. And I think it's a really funny scene. The reason I really love this scene, the writing is great, but this is the first time, like Wayne has always been like the guy with like all the useless knowledge kind of facts and stuff like that. And so around the other Hicks and around the other characters on the show, he seems smart just because, right? But in this one, he's facing somebody who's really intelligent, and he's going back and forth with her like without missing a beat. And this is the first time we see Wayne like, okay, this guy is sharp. Like he's a hick, but man, he's someone to reckon with in a verbal kind of argument, right? I really, really enjoyed this scene because I think it showed a level of Wayne that we haven't seen yet. What did you think?
Fair enough.
I think it's true. It's just they're two kind of we're talking about these two scenes from two different perspectives. One is intelligence and the writing style and just the seeing Wayne on a kind of in a new light.
Yeah.
Whereas the other scene is just laughter.
Yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, my point isn't that it's funnier than the other scene, but I just love the writing in this scene. I think it and the acting and the just I think it's really good. So Kim asks.
No argument.
Kim asks.
Both have merit.
Kim asks Wayne what he wants, presumably out of life, and Wayne just says he wants a Gus and Brew. Pastor Glenn returns to take their drink order. Kim orders a Caesar and Wayne a pint of lager, something local. A local lager for Mr. Brando and a Caesar for Sandy Bullock. Wayne and Kim get into an amazing back and forth argument over the differences between a resto bar, a gastro lounge, and a brasserie. Kim is impressed with Wayne's arguing skills.
Do you know what an emergency call is, Wayne?
Negative.
It's when you have a friend call 10, 15 minutes into a date to be sure the date isn't a total bust. And if it is, then you can play the phone call as though it's an emergency and leave the date.
Well, that's fair. I guess we are first cousin to an emergency here.
A good one. And you shouldn't be afraid of it. I think we could do good things here. I'm going to call my friend and cancel her pending emergency call. And when I get back, let's talk about your feelings, Wayne.
Okay.
Let's really talk about them.
Okay.
I want to take them, and I want to talk about them.
She's kind of terrifying in a very sexy way.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Kim leaves and Wayne calls the matchmaker.
Oh, it's Wayne. How are you now? Oh, not so bad. Yeah, this one's too hard.
It's so good.
It's so good. Oh, man. All right. Scene number 6. The Skids are dancing outside the dollar store. Stuart walks up. He shows the Skids that he comes in peace by dropping his EpiPen. I should have added a trigger warning for our U.S. friends who are listening right now. more EpiPens are wasted in this episode.
$700 every time they throw one on the ground.
Yeah. Stuart asks the Skids if they've seen Katie around. They haven't. They wonder if there's trouble in paradise. If there was, she would know it because Stuart isn't talking to her. The Skids approve of Stuart's tactics. Of course they would. The Skids go on to compare how much gaming each of them are getting done. Sounds like a lot like gym rats bragging about how much they work out. Stuart asks if they want to hit up a happy hour, and Roald is ready to take him back, but Devin pulls Roald back and sends Stuart away, but not before throwing a soccer ball and hitting Stuart. Cut to the next scene at Super Scoops ice cream. Poor Stuart. Upcountry.
It was still funny at this point, by the way.
Yes. Wayne meets Lisa. Once again, their date is interrupted by Pastor Glenn, who is also working at the ice cream truck.
Are you ever? Look at you. America's little sweetheart over here. You're like a little Katie Heigl or like a little Katie Hudson. What can I get you?
Do you have cookies and cream?
Do I have cookies and cream? I sure do have cookies and cream. I'm thinking maybe a vanilla fudge swirl chunk for Mr. Newman over here.
That'll do, thank you.
Okay, and you're going to keep an eye on little Katie Blanchett here for me till I get back?
Sure will.
Thank you. Be right back.
I love how he ran away, by the way.
Yeah. Glenn leaves Wayne to his date. Lisa is a preschool principal, and if you don't recall Wayne's view on kids, please refer to the Fart Book episode where Wayne says,
"Oh, there's nothing better than a fart." Except kids falling off bikes, maybe. Fuck, I could watch kids fall off bikes all day. I don't give a shit about your kids.
So,
You're not allowed to laugh. You gave that a compost.
Lisa doesn't let Wayne respond.
I said it had funny moments.
Yeah. Lisa doesn't let Wayne respond. She knows that everybody loves kids. They're so silly.
I know. Everyone likes kids. They're so silly. I love them when they're silly. But if they get too silly, they have to come see me.
Silly.
Mischief.
Trouble.
We use gentler terms as a policy.
Well, so what happens when they come see you?
Well, we do things a little differently in our program. The approach is progressive and positive. We issue a hug consent form to parents, which allows us to hug their kids. Because 99% of the time, all kids need is a hug.
A hug.
A squeeze.
Will you squeeze them?
An embrace.
Oh.
Oh?
Well.
What is it?
Nothing.
Wayne.
Yeah?
Speak freely.
No, I'd better not.
That's the only way we'll get to know each other.
Wayne doesn't want to elaborate, but Lisa persists. So?
But do you ever smack them?
Excuse me?
Like give them a good whack?
I don't follow.
Do you ever hit the kid? Like for being too silly?
No, Wayne. We never hit our kids. You shouldn't hit kids.
Well, you know what? Don't you remember how scared you were of your principal when you were growing up? It's because he'd smack you if you were being too silly. Heck, your parents wanted you to have a principal who would smack you. They took comfort in the fact that they were sending you to a place every day where someone would smack you for them if you were being too silly. And sometimes I see kids these days kind of think like wish you could still do that.
It's a fucked up topic, man.
I'm not too ashamed to admit that I've probably made the same point before, where like sometimes I wish,
Yeah, well, I even remember as a kid. I mean, I know we're sort of roughly in the same age range. I'm giving a range, but I mean, our parents, very different world. Our grow up, very different world. Now today's world, it's like unacceptable. But I can actually remember moments where I'm running from my dad, and there was one time in particular where he's chasing me because of something stupid I did. He then tripped, fell on his face over a footstool. I was scared to death. I ran out the goddamn front door, down the street, and didn't come home until night. I am not stepping inside that door because he was already angry and then he fell.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah. I do not want to face that man.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I have a story.
Go ahead.
I love the beach story.
So this is back in Tbilisi. I was 7, and somebody told my dad that I swore in Russian. The Russian swearing is quite severe. And I didn't really know what it meant, what I said. I just heard it on the playground, and it's pretty bad. And so my dad came over to me and said, "Let me tell you a story." He said, "It all sounds so much better when you tell it in Russian, but we'll give it our best try."
So much more ominous, I'm sure.
Yes. So he said, when I was your age, I was outside and I wrote a bad word with a stick in the sand, and the neighbor saw me do it and told my mother, and my mother told my dad. And when I came through the door, I'm not sure what happened, but I was suddenly flying through the air and landed on the other end of the room. And my dad came over to me and said, "If I ever hear you do this again, next time you will not land." So
wow.
So I just wanted to tell you this story. My dad is telling me, and then he walked away.
He might as well have just said, "I will break you."
Just left me with that visual. Right. And so there you go. So that's how they do things back in the Soviet Union.
You know what?
We laugh, but it's not even funny.
Well, no. Look, we've had the conversations at the coffee shop where we're crying in tears.
Oh.
Me and my friends, and we're all sharing our stories of getting beaten up. I mean, I'm Portuguese. I was raised by the hand. It was my mom doing the beating. But funny enough, and I swear to God, this wasn't planned this way. But last week I was having a conversation with my daughter. She's 6 years old, in grade 2, and she asked me, "Tell me about your teachers in school and stuff like that." So I was like, "Well, what do you want to know?" So like, who's your kindergarten teacher? And I said, "Oh, it was Mrs. McNeil." And she said, "Oh yeah, was she nice?" I said, "Yeah, she was nice, except once she smacked me." She goes, "She what?" Say, "She smacked me." "What? In the face?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, she goes, "What did you do?" I said, "Well, I said a bad word. I said a word that I shouldn't say." And she's like, so now she starts trying to guess what the word was. Was it the F word? I'm like, no. Was it the S word? I was like, it was an S word. She goes, "Was it stupid?" I'm like, no, it was shit. Like I said, shit. I was 4 years old. I said shit. I had no idea what I was saying. And I got smacked by my kindergarten teacher. But that's, she was like, she couldn't believe that I told her that a teacher hit me because I said a bad word in class. So yeah, things have changed quite a bit.
Okay, well, I have to share my story.
Oh, no,
mine was so our hits came from my dad's rubber slipper on our butts, and he would like flick his foot and the shoe would come up and he would catch it in midair, and then you couldn't get out of the room faster than his slipper would hit you in the ass. So the funny part about this is that he would wear out his slippers every year because he would hit us with them. And at Christmas time, my mom would take us to the store and we would buy him a new pair of slippers. So we were forced to buy the torture device, right?
It's
and
so
like,
devious.
I look back on that, scratching my head, going,
It's some form of mental
Was he
and
a James
emotional
Bond
torture.
fan?
Yeah.
It sounds very odd job.
It was a very, like you tried
man.
to like back out of the, but eventually you'd have to turn, and that's when he'd get you. And it was,
Look, if we were to share all the great beating stories, this podcast would be 2 hours long. So we'll have to move on. But yeah, that's that's some great stuff. All right. Wayne goes on to say that another problem with kids is sitting in school all day makes them soft. Lisa fakes getting her emergency call and runs off. Wayne calls the matchmaker.
It's Wayne. So how are you now? Well, not so bad. Yeah, this one's too soft.
that was so predictable.
It was, but it's still
he
fun.
made the right call on that one.
Yes.
I think you should have saw the first one through a bit more.
All right, next
At
scene.
least for a night or so.
Next scene, back at the farm. Stuart is not so silently moping around Katie's proximity to try to get her attention. She will not give him the satisfaction until she finally gives in.
It's been 3 days. Why haven't you asked me what's wrong?
Something wrong?
Of course it is. You act like I don't.
Should I have known that?
It's called the silent treatment. Step 1, I stop talking to you. Step 2, you form the conclusion that something is wrong. Step 3, you ask me what's wrong.
What's up with step 1?
You skip step 1 and 2.
What's step 3 again?
You ask me what's wrong.
Got it.
Good.
You bet.
Go ahead.
Where?
Step 3.
What's step 3 again?
We'll skip step 3. I'm just going to tell you what's wrong.
That should have been step 1.
Wrong. Step 1 and 2 are fundamental steps.
You missed steps, Stuart.
How?
Step 1, become angry with someone. Step 2, tell that someone that you're angry. Step 3, resolve anger with that someone. Step 4.
Step 4.
Step 4, resume peaceful existence.
That's one of Katie's shining moments too. Great, really well written scene. Katie dumps Stuart, telling him it's time for him to go. It was a rebound, even though there was no physical act of rebounding. Tanya should be happy to hear that, which was a first for her. Stuart asks her why.
No one has time for the silent treatment, Stuart. Not even in Letterkenny. Adios.
Katie leaves Stuart standing there, and as the camera pulls back, you see Derry and Squirrely Dan were playing catch and witnessing the whole thing. As he walks away, they hit him with the baseball again. And
so I actually felt for him this time. I'm all for pain and laughing at people and their pain, but it just got mean.
Yeah. Well, at that point, he just
started crying.
Yeah, he was lying there.
Not even that.
Yeah.
Like it was 3 times. Like the first time was I was on the floor laughing. Second time I laughed. This time I felt for him. Like this is not okay.
Well, because he just also got dumped, and then and then on top of that,
I don't care about that.
Yeah, but he was already hurting from that, and then he got hit again and started crying.
Well, I think it's different though too. Like no one likes getting smacked in the back of the head. Like that's a dishonor. It's a very, I don't know. It takes it too far. Hitting the back of the leg, the ass, the whatever. Yeah, okay. But it's taking it too far.
So let's go.
I caught that too. The head hit versus the back. You're right. I had different feelings associated with that.
Yeah.
So let's go back to episode 1 of this season where Tanya didn't like it at all. And it was mostly because she took exception to the fact that Katie is dating Stuart. You hated that.
He was licking her face, and she's like, ugh. And I was, yeah.
So
no.
now we see
she wasn't standing up to him. She wasn't. No, I didn't.
Well, now you hear there was no physical activity at all, and it was just a pity date. Does that make you feel better?
So
I like.
So you're more favorable to his neediness.
Yeah. No one has time for that.
Ain't no one got time for that.
At least not on Letterkenny.
Next scene, date number 3. At the chip truck east of town, Wayne meets his date. It's Angie, his ex. They share a tense moment, and then, once again, Pastor Glenn interrupts. But this time, it's not because he works there. He just loves the fries. He sees Angie, and then...
Who is this? You're a masterpiece, aren't you? You're like a Shelley Pfeiffer. You're like a Charlie Theron or like a Penny Cruz. Ooh, you're like a little Angie Jolie. That's who you are. You're Angie.
How are you now?
Good, and you?
Well, not so bad.
So we meet Angie.
So how does okay, wait, pause.
Yeah.
Because I'm
with you on this one.
I'm a story follower. And if he dated for 5 years, Pastor Glenn would have known who Angie was.
Well, we don't know how close Pastor Glenn is to
Pastor
Wayne.
Glenn works at 3 freaking different places plus the church. There's no way that it would have been, anyway.
So they dated though in high school. Maybe Pastor Glenn
a little bit
didn't,
of a hole.
Well, maybe.
There's a hole.
I also, although I loved Pastor Glenn's content in this episode, I didn't understand why he was at all these places. It didn't make any sense. Like from a story perspective, I'm like, there's no way. This doesn't make any sense.
It was a comedy standpoint.
Yeah, he's got
good. So it was a hard one to.
He's got to comment on all his dates and call them by these famous women's names, but a really familiar version of each woman's name. Like instead of Penelope Cruz, it's Penny Cruz. Instead of
I caught that.
Charlize Theron, what was it? Char Theron, whatever. It was funny.
Like I said, I enjoyed his content, but I didn't understand. It just seems so forced to put him into these scenes.
You have to, because you're watching this, because you're forgetting that this show is not dissimilar to, let's say, the Simpsons or Family Guy or kind of a cartoon, except it's live action. So it's not like pure reality. Sometimes you're going to get things that are propish or it's like taking a bit of a road trip for a punchline.
The whole point of Pastor Glenn being in these scenes is to change Victor's mind on Pastor Glenn. That's all it is.
Yeah. No. We make our own reality, and in my case, that's true.
Yeah, he didn't make things uncomfortable. He was a comedy. He was there for comedy.
Oh no, he was great. I agree. Yeah. I didn't understand from a story perspective.
Without him, this episode would have been good, and he was a catalyst for greatness in this episode. So I thought
look at that. That's high praise from Victor on Pastor Glenn. Angie wants to talk with Wayne in his truck. She grabs him by the jeans waist. Wayne says,
"Okay."
And cut to the next scene where Wayne is sitting at the produce stand with the puppers and a shot of Gus and Brew, and he's speaking to the camera.
Now that was just right.
Did you see the smile on his face?
Oh yeah. Well, it's that whole getting back together sex is always the familiarity and he's having such a hard time finding somebody who's perfect for him.
Applaud Wayne for a second.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well done.
I like the head nod
for a second for not reacting to Al's comfort and saying.
Let's see here. The others ask Wayne how he made out. It seems they didn't know it was Angie, because I think if they did, they would have probably given him a hard time. But they give him a hard time anyway.
So it's no toe curling then?
It's impolite to kiss and tell.
Nothing wrong with a little stank on the hangdown.
Nothing wrong with a little takes it out with trade.
A little hizzin' in the skizzin'.
Hell, I know there's nothing wrong with a little going to the boneyard. I know that.
Nothing wrong with a little bacon making.
Nothing wrong with a little shot twixt winds and waters.
A little building the blanket monster.
I know there's nothing wrong with a little pituitary poke. I know that.
Nothing wrong with a little making the beast with 2 backs.
Making feet for children's stockings.
Testing the tube stage.
Look, I know there's nothing wrong with a little crawl up the skin slide. I know that.
Nothing wrong with a little yes.
Just pump the brakes right there.
So the Hicks go on a jag about how women sound when they're orgasming in pornos.
When have you ever heard a girl go yes?
Well,
other than in a porno.
I don't believe I have.
Me neither.
That's because we don't say that.
Well,
not unless it's in a porno.
Now, my comment, you see, the way Derry did the yes is not the way they do the yes in pornos.
That's the way they do it. the girl gets all excited and she goes, yes.
Yes, but the way you're doing the yes is not the way they do the yes.
Yes, it is the way they do it. They go, yes. That's exactly how they do it.
No, they don't. What they do is they find a super high pitch for those first 4 yeses, and then they come in all dramatic for that final yes. So it goes a little something like yes, and then they get all dramatic for that final yes. Say yes.
I don't think that's how they do it.
I got to hear it again.
Yes.
Yeah, porno girls do that, but only when the porno guys aren't busy finding some super low tone and repeating over and over again, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
I take a bit of offense to that, Miss Katie, says I have a naturally low voice, and I do like to say, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Except when I don't do it in pornos.
Well, then you should do voiceovers for English dub foreign pornos, Dan, because that was a textbook, oh, fuck.
Well, thank you, Miss Katie. I've never had any complaints from any of my sexual companions about my, oh, fuck.
Sorry, I couldn't cut it off. There was no place
I'm glad you kept it going.
Oh my God. I was hoping and praying that Jim would show up and do his impression.
Oh,
but
man.
Okay,
when Derry was doing his, all I could think of is batter.
Swing batter.
See, I heard like a race car.
You're right though, Victor. Wayne's version sounded like it could have been done by Jim Dickens,
an auctioneer.
Yes, yes. Oh man, the whole hilarious scene continues for another few minutes and then ends with a crescendo of yeses and ah fucks and oh my gods. Oh man.
Okay, so I have to ask the question.
Go.
Victor, did you watch this with your son? And was that really uncomfortable?
No, I watched it with actually William and Linda this time. And we all loved the episode. We didn't necessarily pause and talk about those scenes just because it's not like it was necessary.
How old's your son again?
17, right?
He's 17, yeah.
Okay.
So I know I think at last episode you said Linda may have kind of given up on the show. She didn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm really glad she watched this one again.
She doesn't hate it. She can take it or leave it. That's fine.
But after this episode, do you think she'll be interested again?
Yeah, I think she's her position is if she's around and she's not doing something else, she'll be happy to watch it. But if she's like whatever, going for a walk or doing her exercise or whatever, then we can go ahead without her.
All right. We got a couple more just short scenes here. Scene 11. Jonesy and Riley are sitting in their Jeep outside the ring, still talking about donking at Pracky. I didn't pull a clip for that. Scene 12. Outside the dollar store, the skids are, skidding. And when Stuart approaches, in an overly dramatic, often slow motion montage, Stuart and Devin have a dance battle. In the end, Stuart wins when Devin falls to injury. And Stuart regains his bowler hat of leadership of the skids. And order among the skids is once again restored. And fade to black. So there we go.
Wait, could we for a second just pause? And I can't remember if it was this scene or the previous dance scene where Roald was doing some crazy break dancing.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Yeah,
that was
sure.
crazy.
Yeah.
That was nuts. I was, a little respect there.
Yeah.
And I loved it coming into the scene. I had forgotten because I'd seen this episode a long time ago, but I knew it was coming as soon as I saw the cardboard on the ground.
Yeah,
I'm like, the cardboard's there. The dance is coming. This is how we do it in the street. Here we go.
Do the kids today know what breakdancing means?
You know what?
I think it's making a comeback.
We actually went to a festival and there was cardboard on the ground and there was a bunch of people that were amazing. Absolutely.
What's old is new again. And actually,
but I guess what I'm saying is that what it's still called, or is there has it been reborn as something new?
I think it's still
like what? I think that's politically fine.
And then they had kids come up and they would show them like a move or whatever, and then they would do it.
And some of these moves that they've got now are way more impressive than the shit that we were doing. What we're trying to do before.
Like when you watch shit like that, do you ever reevaluate? Man, I wish I took the time to learn something cool like that. Like,
oh man,
I know I do.
Yeah. Well, I never had the I was able to do some breakdancing back when I was a teenager.
Yeah, your
but now,
break was different though.
All right, so let's do
the Portuguese show.
Yeah, initial reactions. No ratings yet. Let's just your overall thoughts of the episode. Victor, go.
Brilliant. Just pure joy. Lots of laughter. Just lots of unforced laughter, which is a good tell sign of a good comedy show. Lots of depth to characters and build, again, introduction of giving kind of rebirth to some older characters in new light, like Pastor Glenn. Just lots of good things. And the things that I typically don't like were kind of in the background and without giving too much spotlight or focus, which was great. So all the key players were kind of in a forefront. And just generally, I loved it.
Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say two of my biggest laughs of the entire series this episode. There was definitely, I would say, a few, I almost call them commercial breaks. Like there were some gaps and some weird fillers in it. Agreed.
But
I mean, all in, I very much echo what Victor said. I just enjoyed this episode straight through from start to finish.
Tanya?
I agree. Like I really could have done without the skids. That whole
I sense a unicorn
part,
coming.
Oh,
that whole part.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
I didn't need, and same with the jocks. I didn't need their bit in it either. The fillers weren't necessary. Everything else was good. That should have, it should. Yeah. We don't need to see them every single episode.
Matt, don't be calling a shutout with 30 seconds left in the
game. Or a no-hitter. A no-hitter with a few innings left. So I'm going to agree with everything you're saying. Brilliant episode. Best writing so far. Funniest moments so far. Riley and Jonesy really didn't have to be in this episode. I think they were thrown in maybe to make time,
they were the commercial breaks that Matt was alluding to.
They were pretty useless. In fact, I considered not pulling the clip from them, but I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have. But anyway, it didn't feel like they contributed.
It qualifies their points, so I think that's fine.
Yeah, and
it didn't make sense. I agree.
The skid thing, for at least with the skid thing, the storyline about Stewart coming back and taking back leadership of the skids. I mean, that it's there, and that served the purpose. So. As much as you may not like the characters, and that end dance scene was pretty ridiculous, but it was also, to me, it was fun. I found it funny. So I mean,
I enjoyed it, man.
Just what's funny about Stewart, this is his second time returning back to to the throne.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
The first time after that.
The rave,
backstabbing it, exactly, and then now this time. So
and generally, I'm with you. Yeah, and I'm with you guys. I mean, I don't always enjoy the skid scenes, but even though the last one was kind of awkward and kind of uncomfortable, I actually enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I knew what was going on. This sort of challenge for leadership and the way it panned out, and the bowler hat significance at the end. I actually really liked the scene.
Yeah.
I would have rathered it been like a video game. I don't know.
Video game off.
It was a video game off. They were playing Dance Revolution.
Yeah.
They were playing Dance Revolution.
Yeah, or dance. Yeah, just
it was a dance. Oh, come on! One of your favorite movies is Footloose. Basically, they did Footloose. They
just did it in a very very sad way.
Yeah. All right. So ratings. Victor, would you give this a fresh, clearance, or compost?
Oh, this is a super crispy fresh. This is the freshest that you can get.
All right. Matt, fresh, clearance, or compost?
Yeah, I'm going to leave that with, I like I said, I mean, there was definitely some fillers. And I was afraid that the fillers and the ending might have deterred Tanya. I'm hoping not enough, but I think the rest of the episode, 100% fresh. I loved it, man. I just laughed my ass off. The writing was so on point. And it was just such a well told episode.
All right,
so fresh.
Tanya, what say you?
Okay, so
she who gave Fart Book a fresh. I don't not to give you any pressure.
Was it just
it's
right?
It's not 100% fresh. It's not because those bits, they were fillers, and it wasn't from start to end. If they weren't there, absolutely, I would give it 100%. But they were there, so it borders between clearance and fresh. I will give it a fresh. I will, but it's not 100% fresh.
Wait, can you say that one more time?
Okay, so because I mean, if you gave this something less than fresh after giving Fart Book fresh, I don't know.
I laughed out loud. No, do not get me wrong. Though the moments that were in there that were solid, they were absolutely solid. Like no doubt at all. It was just those fillers that it was just like you were so riled up and laughing and tears coming down my face. And then all of a sudden it's just like, wah, wah. Like, it's just like it's like that. It's like a commercial break. It's like it kind of loses some momentum and then you laugh again and then it just loses some momentum one more time.
Yeah. And that was my fear. I was thinking that watching, I'm like, I'm so afraid. I'm like, I think we're going to get a fresh across the board. But those off scenes, I think.
You know what I'm talking about then.
Sure.
So,
but Tanya, the key to what you're saying is, you know, between the commercial, like after you come back from the commercial break, the story continues. It's not yet another skit, and I think that's the key to making sure that you're giving this the proper rating. That yes, you've got the commercial breaks, but you've got this wonderful story that is woven throughout, and there's no. When you come back to the show. Yeah. And you're you know, so I think it works.
No, I hear you. I give it a fresh. The funny was definitely 100% funny.
Mm-hmm.
Could have done without the commercial breaks.
So, and I mean, even the best shows aren't going to be like right through the whole thing from beginning to end. You're laughing your ass off from beginning to end. There's going to be some lulls in between.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, my turn. This is a perfect Letterkenny episode. It's about as perfect as you can get. Like up until now,
the unicorn is here.
It is the perfect Letterkenny episode. The writing is top notch, best writing so far. The physical humor is so good. so good. The reactions, the everything, the movements. It's almost like they have like a choreographer there choreographing movement, especially like Wayne, his stature, like his stance, the way he moves, just everything about this episode was perfect. I agree. We could have done without the hockey players, but I mean, it's such a tiny point that I would not let it ruin this perfect episode. And by the way, I don't know if you guys realize this, but this was this season's concept episode. If Fart Book was season 1's concept, this was season 2's concept. It was.
Why was Fart Book season 1's concept
episode? Like it was an episode about that. They wrapped it around a theme. Like, so it was about Facebook theme, right? This one here, they wrapped it around.
Sense.
Yeah. The Goldilocks and the Three Bears theme, and they stuck to it right from the beginning to the end. They made the analogy at the beginning and they stuck to it, and it was perfect. It was perfectly suited for this. I remember back when I was trying to convince Tanya that this was a good show. I showed her an episode thinking, oh, this is really good. You should really watch this. And she didn't think much of it. I feel like this is the one I should have shown her, although it probably still wouldn't have made a difference because
I think it's the context though.
It's the context, knowing the characters. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. This is the freshest of fresh. I'm with Victor. I'm with all you guys, but with Victor and Matt especially, because Tanya still thinks it's a bit of a borderline episode. So it's funny,
guys.
I kind of felt, and I was a little excited, but I didn't want to, like Matt, I didn't want to blow my load and get too excited. But so I thought, okay, I need a special sound effect for when this happened. So hopefully, and this episode kind of provided the perfect sound effect, I think, for it.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Yes.
We did it, guys. We did it. We made it.
We got the money shot.
We've done this once before, though, haven't we?
I don't know. Were we all agreed?
Haven't we? I think we've all done.
No, yeah, I think
before.
the last episode of season 1, I think we all agreed was fresh. Did we not?
We just pretend we didn't because this one's really exciting.
No, we did, but it was virtual agreement.
Yeah,
you
weren't here.
Oh, yeah, Matt wasn't here, but yeah,
and Victor and I
mailed in his vote, and there was controversy.
and I didn't have this amazing.
Mail-in voting's a fraud.
I didn't have.
Weren't counted properly.
I didn't have the amazing sound effect for that. All right. Top fives. Victor, where do you put this in your top five?
Oh, this shoots up to the top.
Number one. I was going to read them all out to you, but I had a feeling maybe this is your number one.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, no
Number
need.
top?
You just, shoot it to the top and then
You're number
the
top.
natural order of progression.
Okay, sorry. I was in the middle of a drink there. Matt, where did you put this? You need me to read your
you know what, I'm gonna
episodes?
do the same thing because this opened and ended with two of the funniest moments. And again, I'm going to just disregard those commercial breaks.
Yeah.
This is 100% number one right now.
Disregard.
Okay. Tanya, do you need me to read out
I'm
your...
a detail-oriented.
All right. So number one, you have a fuss at the back in the back bush. So that was the last episode of season one.
Oh, this is funny.
Then
Okay, go ahead.
fart book.
Put it in, stick it in one.
Wow.
Hey.
And you know what?
Let's stick it in one.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it once again. I'm gonna make it a no hitter. I put it in my number one spot as well. Number one spot as well.
Don't stick it in two. No Squirrely Dan over here. Let me just say.
You guys. Hey, this is my wife you're talking to.
Al, you brought her on the show, man.
I know.
One of us.
I'm a big girl. I can hold it.
Okay.
Hold my own.
So it's everyone's number one episode now. I'm just going to move on to listener comments real quick here. Miriam DeJohn, she tweeted at us and said, "Who is Brad Stewart?" I believe she was referring to.
Thank you, Miriam.
Victor, who swore he said Brad Pitt, but he didn't. And
didn't he?
No,
Oh, you heard it back again,
He said
eh?
Brad Stewart. Yeah.
Did ya?
Oh, I felt so good when I saw that tweet.
Brad Stewart was a good hockey player. I will say that.
And then
No relevance to the show.
That's okay.
So I posted a scientific Twitter poll. Was Pastor Glenn wearing bicycle shorts or underwear when he arrived at the campaign video shoot from last episode? This is closer than I'm comfortable with, but 55.6% said obviously they were bicycle shorts, agreed with me, and 44.4% said it was underwear.
See, now if that poll was taken in the European kind of, they would totally say bicycle shorts.
So here's the Boondocks podcast. They tweeted us and said, I'd say give your balls a tug, but it looks like your bicycle shorts are doing that for you. So I do believe that is a line that Wayne utters at some point in an episode, commenting on Pastor Glenn's biker shorts. So
not biker.
Bicycle shorts. Sorry, bicycle
for
shorts.
sure. Those are two different things.
Beck said, "Thank you for the shout out. I just finished season 2. What a cliffhanger. Beck, thank you for listening. And don't get ahead of yourself. I agree. Can't wait for that cliffhanger." Beck also said, "I'm loving it." Oh, she's talking about the podcast, our podcast. "I'm loving it. Perfect timing as I needed another comedy to fill Schitt's Creek void." Actually, she's talking about Letterkenny.
And sorry, can we just quit? I mean, I wanted to show this out last week because I'm a Schitt's Creek fan as well. And I was so excited when I saw Schitt's Creek take the sweep at the Grammys for the comedy category.
Amazing.
It was exciting to watch. And if you haven't watched that show and you're a Letterkenny fan, I still recommend that one. It's amazing. It's so well done, so well written.
Tanya and I have started it. We're 6 episodes in.
So let me ask you a question. I watched 2 episodes and I kind of gave up because it didn't capture me. But this was a couple of years ago. So
give it a try.
How long do I need to go before I get hooked?
See, I personally loved it from the very first episode. It's such a fun story and it's so inclusive and so smart.
Okay.
And I mean, we talk about writing and Letterkenny. That is Schitt's Creek. It is so
Victor,
brilliant
you
in
and
the way
I
they put that show together.
You and I share the same brain wave. Well, at least at the beginning we did. So I'm going to say we're 6 episodes in on Schitt's Creek right now.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. So about that. To get kind of invested into what's going on and kind of get past that little hump at the beginning of well, what the hell is this?
So you're getting to know the characters and yeah.
I do. It's not that there isn't anything about it that I didn't like. I just felt like I could take it or leave it. That's all.
I suggest you give it another try.
I'm with you.
I did that and I binged the whole thing and I love that series.
So Victor,
I'll
give
it a try.
The first time I tried it, I don't think I finished the first episode because it didn't appeal to me at the time. The characters weren't very redeeming yet. And I mean, 6 episodes in, it's getting a little bit better. I've read somewhere that you kind of have to give it the first season, and then after the first season is when it gets really good. So we're gonna see. But anyway, Tanya and I are invested now. We're gonna it's our half-hour comedy after we watch an hour of.
I guess in episode 1, I can't remember. Whatever happened to them, I didn't really feel sorry for them.
Right, exactly.
That's the point. That's the point. You kind of hate them at first, and then the show will change your opinion of these characters as you get into it.
All right.
So it's really
It's our half-hour comedy that we have to watch after an hour of Away, which is really good, but pretty intense.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard kind of both sides of that one.
Space one, right?
Yeah. So far, I mean, I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
We also
We're
watched
watching Utopia right now. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm on episode 8 of that.
Oh yeah.
We just finished.
Utopia and The Boys.
Oh, Victor, you would like the one we just finished, The Great.
It's Russian.
It's so good. It's so good. It's hilarious.
It's really quite good.
It's kind of
The Great.
It's a historical comedy about Catherine the Great, the Russian.
Is that on Amazon?
What's it on? Hulu. It's actually a Hulu show.
Oh, it's on. Okay, so I'll need.
It is
a different method, but
really good. Really, really, really good.
It was good.
Cannot recommend it enough. The writing was amazing. It was funny. It's not very historical, but it's hysterical.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
and I'll come back with you with if I think I already did it before, but Ted Lasso, super awesome. Just finished the season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, what an awesome show! So watch that one. I'll take The Greats. You take Ted.
When we have okay, I got to finish these up here. McMurray points out that he is only wearing his underwear. There's also a possibility that they are a pair of stylish European shorts. That's from our buddy Anthony Pacheco from California. You guys are hilarious. That's from Soul Coach. Victor, do you know who this is? This is a former colleague of ours at work.
Wait, should I be looking at something?
Soul Coach. No, I'm just by the name Soul Coach. Do you know what it is? SOL Coach.
It's not remind.
It's our friend Evelyn from work.
Oh, of course.
So she's listening. Thank you, Evelyn, for listening. And don't discount Fart Book, or we're gonna have a talk. And that's again from the Boondock Saints. Boondock podcast.
Love it.
All right, so that's it. Before I play us off, do we have any final words? We'll start with. I'm going
to start.
Okay,
I'm just excited. I'm excited. I'm excited that we all agreed for once. I'm tired of fighting, guys. This is a happy place. We're friends, but
listen,
I'm not
hey,
like it lately.
I came with it last week. Like, you guys were the ones that let me down.
That's true. She's right. She had a fresh rating last week, and we're the ones who didn't agree. Yeah,
I was ready.
Hey, I'm married too, and I know women sometimes don't like to be wrong, but it's okay.
Oh
we
man,
still love you.
Oh man. Did I mention I went through 3 hours of diversity training this afternoon, and
me too.
That comment would not fly. 3 fucking hours.
It's called inclusion and diversity.
Oh man, yeah, inclusion and diversity.
We had a harassment course that we had to do, and I thought, I'm working from home. If Alan slaps my ass in the kitchen, can I call it into work?
Fired. I could get fired.
How would that work?
Victor, any final comments?
Oh my! I don't know how I can follow that up, but I don't know. I just feel like we kind of hit the big leagues now.
Mm-hmm.
This is prime time, and I hope that it maintains at this level. Because if it does, then this show becomes an actual real. It ends up living up to kind of the cult following that it has now. Because up until now, it's been kind of hit and miss.
Okay. Tanya, did you have any final?
I expect this to be this way from here on out.
All right.
No, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
I mean, yeah, it's 8 seasons.
I'm an optimist, but I mean, I've seen the show and I know where we're heading, and I know you guys well enough already.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to clash.
We are going to clash.
I thought it was the perfect Letterkenny episode. I'm happy that we all agree, and I'm looking forward to future episodes. But for now, we're going to let Let's see. Cannonball Jane, take us out with a song called Take It to Fantastic. And that's all we have for this episode. Next week, we'll recap and review Season 2, Episode 4, The Native Flu. Please rate us on iTunes if you like the show. Follow us on Twitter at Produce Stand Pod. Oh, by the way, Matt, can you hear me?
I can, sir.
During the time it took us to record this podcast, we have 11 new Twitter followers.
I know. Should we take a few moments to call them out now?
I'll call them out next week. Thank you so much for listening and for following. We also invite you to visit our website, the producestandpod.com, for episode recaps and a list of our favorite episodes. Thank you for joining us. Now we're going to have a dance battle to see who will host the podcast going forward. From all of us at the Produce Stand, have a good night.